Commander Zekthara gazed through the crystalline viewport of his flagship, the Sovereign's Wrath, with the confidence of a species that had conquered 17 star systems. His chitinous fingers drummed against the polished control surface as he observed the small blue planet below. Earth, they called it. How quaint. Status report, he clicked in the melodious language of the Velkari Empire. The primitives have responded to our demands with peculiar messages, Commander, his communications officer replied, mandibles twitching with what might have been amusement. They appear to be sending us something called memes and requests for our galactic Yelp reviews. Zekthara's 4 eyes narrowed. These humans were even more backward than intelligence had suggested. Their technology was laughably primitive. Crude metal rockets that barely escaped their gravity well, computers that still used binary code, and communication systems that transmitted data at speeds the Empire had surpassed millennia ago. They don't even have quantum entanglement networks, his tactical officer observed. How do they coordinate anything across their continents? They don't need to coordinate. Much longer, Zekthara replied. Begin the subjugation protocol. These creatures will serve the Empire well as laborers. Their primitive brains might actually be suited for menial tasks. Meanwhile, in a cramped apartment in Mumbai, Dr. Priya Sharma sat hunched over her cluttered desk, her grandfather's old wristwatch ticking steadily beside her laptop. The watch was nothing special. A vintage 1970s Timex her grandfather had worn while working as an engineer. But today, it might just save humanity. You're absolutely insane, her colleague Marcus said over the encrypted video call from MIT. You want to hack an alien mothership with analog circuits? Not just any analog circuits, Priya grinned, holding up the wristwatch. Mechanical ones. Think about it. Their entire civilization is built on quantum computing and energy-based systems. They've probably never encountered purely mechanical analog technology. To them, it would be like encountering magic. The plan was elegantly simple. While the world's government scrambled to respond to the Velkari ultimatum, a small group of engineers, hackers, and scientists had been working on something the aliens would never expect, a Trojan horse built from obsolete Earth technology. Dr. James Chen, calling in from Tokyo, adjusted his glasses. The mechanical timer from the watch can act as a completely isolated trigger. No electronic signature, no quantum interference patterns. As far as their sensors are concerned, it won't exist. And the transmission? Asked Sarah, their expert on electromagnetic theory, from her garage in Detroit. AM radio, Priya said, barely containing her excitement. Amplitude modulation. We're talking 1920s technology. Their shielding is designed to block everything from gamma rays to tachyon pulses, but they've never encountered something this primitive. The signal should pass right through. Above Earth's atmosphere, the Sovereign's Wrath hummed with the power of technologies that bent space-time itself. Its hull was composed of materials that existed in 17 dimensions, and its computer systems processed information using quantum states that defied classical physics. So when a simple electromagnetic wave, carrying data encoded in the rise and fall of its amplitude, washed over the ship, the automated systems didn't even register it as data. It was just noise. Background radiation no more threatening than the cosmic microwave background. The wave carried instructions coded in binary, another primitive system that the Velkari had abandoned eons ago. But binary was universal, and buried deep in the Empire's computer systems were legacy protocols, ancient subroutines that could still interpret the simple on-off signals. Priya's grandfather's watch ticked away the minutes on her desk. In precisely 17 minutes and 43 seconds, the exact time it took for the watch's mechanical timer to complete its cycle, the AM signal would activate. You know what the beautiful thing is? Priya said to her team as they watched the alien ships position themselves around Earth. They think mechanical precision is inferior to quantum accuracy. But sometimes the simple solution is the elegant one. Commander Zekthara was reviewing deployment patterns when his flagship's lights flickered. For a moment, every screen on the bridge displayed the same image. A simple smiley face followed by text in crude human characters. Hello world, Greetings from Earth's primitive hackers. What in the void? Zekthara began. But his words were cut short as every system on the ship began responding to commands it was receiving from nowhere. The navigation system plotted a course to Earth's moon. The weapons arrays powered down. The communication system began broadcasting Earth's internet, specifically a continuous loop of cat videos and human music from the 1980s. Sir, his technical officer's voice was high with panic. The system intrusion appears to be coming from everywhere and nowhere. There's no quantum signature, no energy pattern we can track. It's as if the ship is receiving commands from ghosts. On Earth, Priya watched the alien ships through her apartment window as they began to move erratically. Some were spinning slowly, others were flashing their lights in patterns that spelled out, "Never gonna give you up" in Morse code. The analog timer worked perfectly, Marcus reported. They can't trace it because there's literally nothing for them to trace. A mechanical device triggering a radio transmission. Technology so old they're archaeologically invisible to their sensors. The greatest irony was yet to come. As the Velkari fleet struggled with systems that were simultaneously the most advanced in 17 star systems and completely helpless against 1920s radio technology, more human primitive tech began to assert itself. Emergency broadcasts from Earth's ham radio operators, people the aliens had dismissed as using Stone Age communication methods, began coordinating a response. GPS systems, which the Velkari had ignored as quaint, guided precise electromagnetic pulses from Earth's power grids. Within hours, the mighty Velkari fleet found itself completely disabled by technology their computers couldn't even recognize as technology. Commander Zekthara stared at his view screen, which was now displaying what appeared to be a human recipe for something called chocolate chip cookies, when a priority transmission came through on his personal communicator. "This is Admiral Kethavan of the Imperial Fourth Fleet." The voice crackled with static. "Commander, what is your status? Our long-range sensors indicate your fleet has gone completely dark." "Admiral," Zekthara replied, his voice hollow with disbelief. "I believe we may need to reconsider our assessment of human technological capabilities." "How so, Commander?" Zekthara looked around his bridge where his crew was frantically trying to regain control of systems that were now playing human music and displaying images of small Earth animals doing amusing things. "Sir," he said finally, "they hacked our flagship with a wristwatch.